Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, March 12th, 2023. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're doing well. If you're new to my podcast, please be sure to check out my website at lisahopp.com. That's lisahopp.com. It shows my upcoming events, all about my work, and gives you the ability to schedule an appointment on every page. And if you are coming back, thank you so much to those of you who listen to me weekly and give me such wonderful comments. I appreciate you so much. I really do. And I'm just so grateful that I'm doing this podcast and for the comments that I can receive, the testimonials. It just matters. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. Please be sure as well, everyone, if you're listening to this on YouTube, to like, subscribe, and share. And also, I'm on Instagram under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. Please go and follow me there. And on Facebook under my business page, Spirit Teacher Lisa M. Hopp. I think I covered it, all that I want to. I'm on TikTok, but I really don't post a lot. But I'd like to start again a little bit. So if you find me under Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp on TikTok, please feel free. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's topic is about the regrets that we can have when we transition over to heaven. And why I want to discuss these regrets is so that perhaps you can work on some of them so you don't bring them to heaven. Then heaven is an even better place for you, because heaven on its own is, well, I like to call it home, and I like to call it paradise. It is light. Your physical body is gone. You feel tremendously loved, accepted, immeasurably, unconditionally loved and accepted. There is mercy for you. There is not the judgment that we're taught about by traditional religion. We do get a review. It's a judgment of ourselves, but it's all done in a very, I want to say, merciful and loving way. And it's moments. Time doesn't really exist there. So everything's done in a flash, including their really union with your loved ones. And they know what they're doing. They know what is best for you. And no one ever transitions alone. Many of us, most of us, if not all of us, I think all of us, honestly, have those loved ones around us, no matter how we pass, with us, before the moment that we do transition. And so it's nothing to fear. And before we pass, we've let go of our fear, because we become ready, because we surrender. Now, sometimes when you're with someone at the end of their life and they are going through illness or diagnosis, we feel they are suffering. But oftentimes in my work, they come in and say that they really weren't suffering, either to the extent you thought they were or at all. Many who are going through a process of passing through a diagnosis, illness, will leave their body early and stand apart from their body with their loved ones in heaven or their angels, and they're with you. They're trying to make sure already you're all right before their body even fully passes. And so that's something to keep in mind if you are going through taking care of someone right now, if they're in hospice, or at some point in your life where they will be. It's very important to keep that in mind. Be there for them. Do your best. Try not to worry so much about them in the way, are they being taken care of? Because yes, they are. They really are, from their heavenly helpers. So once we go to heaven, we get a review, which, as I said, is a flash. And during that review, we come to understanding about our lives and about life itself, about heaven itself, about other realms, about, what's important, I want to say. We immediately feel the release of our bodies. I've felt that for a moment myself, been in that plane, and oh my gosh, it is so amazing. There's nothing like it. It's like everything was left behind, all worry, all stress. And when I mean about worry, I mean about those things that we think about, money and bills being paid and our family and our friends, and are they okay? And everything is, oh yeah, everyone's okay. It just gets so much later. For most of us, it does depend on your lives and how you pass. There tends to be much more emotional heaviness if you go to heaven through suicide. If you go just to how your life was, there can be a heavierness. But for the most part, most of us have the ability to drop it all immediately and are just happy to be where we are and have a knowing. Just have a knowing that everyone on earth will be okay and that we will be with them whenever we want to be, that we have the ability to help them. And again, all the understandings of life. So, what are some of the regrets that we go through when we get to heaven? Well, the first regret is that we find out there was absolutely no need to ever worry. It is, I've been told, the number one regret in heaven, because it's a complete waste of time. Worrying never changes one outcome. You can worry all day long about your child, but what's meant to be will be. You cannot prevent through your worry something happening to them. You cannot prevent their suffering in any way through their story. All you're doing is putting burden on yourself and harming yourself, because worry is destructive. Worry takes away our health. It takes away our happiness. It just takes away our overall well-being. So what is best to do on this earth is to, when you go to worry, let it go to your angels. Tell them to take care of it for you. But also, if it is about someone that you care for, a child, another family member, a friend, you can send them extra angels. You can also send them unconditional love and wonderful thoughts through your own energy. If you are someone who practices a formal religion, you can pray for them. And then you know it's in the best possible hands. You have done your job. I have a son, and oftentimes when he's out in this world, if I have a moment, if I just want to go to worry about him, if I hear sirens, if it's not great weather outside, he's out and about, I'm going to put extra angels around him. I know then I've done my job. And if something happens, it was meant to, and there's nothing I could have done to prevent it. Because honestly, most of the time, there's really nothing you can do to prevent something for another person. All you can do is send that unconditional love, put the extra angels around them, and be there for them when and if they need you. And so when you go to worry about anything, involve heaven. It is also said when you worry, it is a lack of faith. And that's very true. It's a lack of faith. Because it takes away the understanding of your power, their power, heaven's power. No, sending that love is very powerful. Sending angels around is very powerful. And worrying says, there is no power. I don't have the power to help. It's all about good luck or bad luck or out of control. Something out of my control. Well, a lot of life regarding another's will is out of your control. You have no control over what happens to another person a lot of the time. You definitely don't have any control about when they pass. It's up to them. It's up to God. Both wills. You're out of it. What you can control is what you send out in the way of emotions and thoughts and words. And if you're on top of that, if you're being powerful and strong and positive, then you've done your job. You've done the most powerful, helpful thing that you can do. And it's so very important. And if you've done it, as I said, you're not only helping them, but you're helping yourself, because you're not self-destructing through worry. The second regret in heaven is that we did not express ourselves enough in a loving way. We didn't say, I love you. We didn't hug. Sure, there are many that show their love through security for you, through being there, through making sure you're protected and taken care of and fed and clothed. Yes, that is an act of love. But we realize when we go to heaven that a small child especially, and everyone as they grow, needs to know they're loved verbally and with loving warmth, such as hugs, such as positive words, such lifting people up, letting them know they're okay, that they're lovable, that they're accepted. We all need to know that. Now, people give as much as they're able to give. Sometimes, we're not taught a lot of the time how to be loving and expressive. So we give the best we can, but we understand how important it was to break through those blocks and to give even more. So on earth, if you want to say, I love you, say, I love you. Now not everyone is open to a hug, but if you have small children around you, they're always open to a hug most of the time. If they aren't, well, I think that can be fixed. Give that warmth of yourself. Say the I love yous. Many times people will wait until they're, maybe having 1 or 2 glasses of wine or something to do it. Because they just feel like they break through those blocks. They feel more open. But if you can, don't wait for a time when you feel more comfortable. Try to break through those blocks. And yes, the word should be genuine. The word should be felt. But if you honestly do feel it, try to break through those blocks and say it. So many people who go to heaven have the regret of not expressing themselves through those gestures, through those words. And what they do is they come around us trying to make up for it. They'll try to line up more for us. They're trying to, what I call supplementing. They will try to send people to us to give them that love even more. And so that's all right. They're making up for it, but you still don't get it physically. You still don't always know who's doing it. You still aren't aware sometimes that some of the things that work out for you are loved ones involved. You still don't understand who is the person in the back seat that's protecting you from an accident. But that person is back there because they care about you, and because probably either they didn't get to know you, or they wanted to, they missed out on it, or they're a primary person in your life that did not express themselves in the way they understand now they should have. So they're trying to do more. I call them helpers on steroids. And yes, sometimes we have people around us in spirit that we don't want in spirit around us. Not someone that would harm us, but someone who perhaps harmed us in life. And we're like, no, don't come around me. But you're going to get them even more because they did. Heaven is about love. It's about redemption. It's about mercy. It's about healing. And so you're going to get those people where all that needs to occur. So it is so much better to do on earth what you can, so that when you are in heaven, maybe you don't have to make up for it so much. Maybe you can work on other things. Have more time perhaps to create and expand yourself, because in heaven it is an active place. You can travel around this globe from heaven in spirit. You can complete music. You can guide people in wonderful ways. It's not always about having to fix who you were on earth. And so the more you can fix on earth, the more time you have for the expansion and creativity of your soul. It's just lighter. You float up in heaven more when you have less burden, less baggage. Though the first level of heaven itself is much better than earth. Much lighter, very joyful, very free. But gosh, wouldn't it be nice to even float up even higher and have even more of that? And you can, if you can express yourself, show love for others, hug, heal, fix that which is happening on earth. Now, when I say fix, I want to be very clear about this part. Sometimes it is not possible to verbally fix something with another person, but you can still send them unconditional love through your being. You can still wish the best for them and should wish the best for them, no matter what. If it's someone who's harmed you, get your angels involved, get God involved, get whomever you want in being to get involved to help them with themselves. Your positive consciousness is the most important thing here. Within you, out to them. And if you can do that, it doesn't matter if you're talking to them. It doesn't matter if they're in your life. All that matters is what you're putting out to them and what you're putting out to the universe. And then when the both of you get to heaven, you can have that final healing, but you've done a lot of the work here. And that's very, very important for your quality of life and for their quality of life as well, the important healing work that is going to occur and needs to occur. The sooner you start it, the better. The third regret in heaven. This one's a doozy. When we get to heaven, we find out that we could have been, done, had anything that we wanted. We were unlimited. That all of our blocks, all of our beliefs, perceptions were self-imposed. We learned it from perhaps our parents, our ancestors. Sometimes it's ancestors, by the way. It's dropped down from generation to generation to generation in traditions, in beliefs, circumstances passed down, and emotions about that. And so we find out that, again, we're unlimited. You have the ability right now to light up a city if you want to. You have the ability right now to be a billionaire, but you have to align with it. You have to remove all your blocks to it. No one wins the lottery unless they're aligned with it. They may align with it temporarily, but they still align with it. In other words, a multimillionaire feels like a multimillionaire in some way before they're a multimillionaire. They don't just win, and yes, their physical life may change, but their emotional life was already there. Your emotional life doesn't change when you win the lottery. It was already changed. They were already feeling it. They had already embraced it. They were already, in some respects, mentally, emotionally, and visually living the life. They may not be spending the money like a millionaire, but they're already emotionally, mentally, and spiritually living the life. And so getting the ticket was just a physical representation of it. Just the last thing that their gut told them to do. Or they lined up with doing it in some way. So, by the way, you don't have to win the lottery to become a multimillionaire. But you do have to align with it. So we come to understand you could have been as wealthy as you wanted. You could have had all the love you wanted. You could have had all the health you wanted. You could have cured anything. Now, when it comes to curing things, again, blocks. What are you holding on to? If you're not feeling your best, if you've had a diagnosis. Anger, rage, unforgiveness, grief, sadness, depression, anxiety. There's no anxiety in heaven. There's no anxiety in the present moment, which is our link to heaven. It's all physical manifestation of what's going on with blocks within us. Some of it's post-traumatic from experiences. And some of it is just handed to us through our early childhood. And yes, sometimes ancestral. Some of the beliefs that certain populations have, certain cultures or races, heritages, are passed down from person to person to person. But it is up to us to decide, is this a truth? Or is this just a belief handed down to me? This is a time in our country, in our world, where we're tackling that. Everyone is. Some are living in the past. Some are pressing forward to the future. We're in the process of transitioning to a modern future where lightness takes over more. A new age, so to speak. But in order to do that, healing has to occur within. And it's amazing to me to see the comments under modern events. Social media, the web, has its wonderfulness and its not so greatness. In the past, technology destroyed civilizations, and we are definitely at risk of that. However, that doesn't have to be that way. And probably it won't be that way this time, unless a massive world changes. And what I mean about social media and experiences happening, events, is that the comments under, many have such a comfort level of lowest bar. Oh, what's the big deal about that? What's the big deal about that? When it comes to something happening that harms another. Rock bottom, but perhaps not rock bottom. And it's interesting, but it's where we are in our healing place. We are not supposed to judge each other, but we at the same time have a physical body that's on survival mode that judges. We're just all trying to survive here. Notice if you're judging and where that's coming from. And when you begin to judge, send the love to it. Send the understanding. Stay apart from it if you even need to. If you find that it's so easy to judge someone. If there's a particular person in mind, is what I mean. And also understand the power of what you write and what you say and what you feel. We haven't gotten that yet. It's amazing to me that there are people on social media, and you may be one of them, that will post positive comment about manifestation. What you put out, you get back. And the next comment is posting negative about themselves or others. You get what you put out. I don't know. It's interesting. It's like positive does have more power than negative, but negative can negate positive a bit. So you're kind of working against yourself there. And there are many people too as well that will post scripture and then post something incredibly negative. And negation, one wipes out the other. And so it's very important, it's very important to feel what you're feeling. You don't want to mask what you're feeling. You don't want to deny it. But words and emotions have power, especially words, and thoughts do as well. So when you go to say something or write something, post something, ask yourself, do I want to receive this back? Do I want this multiplying and coming back to me? If the answer is yes, then post it happily. If the answer is no, then don't do it. It's really that simple. So what happens is when we pass, is that someone who will go to heaven and they had these beliefs. Maybe the beliefs were, I have to work hard for the money, and I have to do what I feel secure. I have to give up my dream in order to have this job, because money can run out. Money needs to be, I have to burn out my body for money. I have to make sure that I do all I can to earn it. And if I don't, it might leave me. And then we get to heaven and find out all you had to do was ask. Ask, believe, receive. You mean I could have gone and done the dream? Yeah. And you would have thrived at it, and you probably would have made more than the job you thought you had to have 9 to 5 in the factory. Now, sometimes people love warehouse factory jobs or whatever. It's not about the title itself, the work title. It's about, are you happy? Are you happy? And if you're not, see what you can do to bring that more to you. Because that's what thrives. That's what is closer to making you unlimited. And when we go to heaven, we find out there was more than enough to go around. We weren't going to run out of resources. Someone didn't take something from you. All you had to do, again, was open up, and you could have received 10 times over. What we put out, we get back. There's a flow. And it's not about what somebody else is getting. We just learn the power of the subconscious mind, and that it really does rule. But it can work against us with our beliefs. So pay attention to what you believe. Is that what you really want to believe? Or is it just what you've been taught? I think the reaction in heaven for that third one is, you've got to be kidding me. I just think so. Many people are amazed. But you know what? There are people in heaven, on earth, that know that you have to feel wealthy in order to be wealthy. That you do have a birthright to be happy. They know it, but they still get caught up in what they were taught. And there's tremendous power in dispensing fear. And there's a wonderful blessing of being involved with a group that's religious, a church. It's community, it's friendships, it's group prayer. That's wonderful. But be very, very careful about exposing yourself to fear. No one should be telling you that you're not good enough to go to heaven, that you're not loved enough, that you're not lovable. No, it's very important to know that's not true. And so, but there's a tremendous control and power in fear. Keeps you coming back if you fear. And so, keep that in mind. Know we find out in heaven that there was never a reason to fear. Never a reason to fear. Fourth regret. All you ever had to do was just ask for help if you went into survival mechanism. There's always at least one departed loved one with you, 1 to 2 angels, 1 to 2 guides. You're never alone for one moment. Even though they can be very invisible around you, they're there. You always are cared for. You're always loved. So see what you can do about those 4 regrets. When you go to fear, give it to heaven. Help me with this. When you go to worry, give it over. And also tell yourself, nothing's happened yet really truly that would cause me to have this fear. Hasn't it always worked out? Hasn't the storm always passed? Today I heard, sadly, about a podcaster who was stalked and killed, and her husband in Washington. And being a podcaster, a small audience I have, but a podcaster, I had a moment of fear, just a second. And then I said to myself, there are many, many podcasters out there. There are many, many YouTubers. And this is unlikely. It's all right. And then I was able to let it go within me. Talk yourself up like that. Be reasonable with yourself. It's very important. You have the power of your mind. You have the power of your thoughts, your feelings, and your words. Remember this, because the better that you get it done here, the even better your immeasurably loving, perfect heaven will be. And that's worth something. Having a better life here and having an even better heaven. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you all so very much. Be sure to check out my website at lisahop.com. And if you're listening to this on on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much and have a very blessed day, a very blessed week. And I'll talk to you next time.